Why is Wade Boggs riding a horse after the New York Yankees won the 1996 World Series? Well, on the one hand, you have Boggs, a fun-loving guy and baseball legend who might just ask the NYPD mounted police for a ride. On the other hand, a major change had occurred between the start of his career in the early 1980s and the end of it in the late 1990s, making this unusual sight possible. Boggs said of clinching a championship title with the Yankees, "It was very unusual that no fans rushed the field. Everybody just stood in front of their seats clapping and yelling, and no one just bombarded the field like they normally do at sporting events when someone wins. So we took the victory lap, and the next thing I know, I'm in center field on a horse." Let's talk about why Wade Boggs is riding a horse. In 1969, the New York Mets won the World Series, and their passionate fans went wild at Shea Stadium. 4 years later, in 1973, celebrations were even wilder. Before pitcher Tug McGraw could record the final out at first base and clinch the National League pennant, Mets fans had already begun swarming the field, and seconds later, the field is a dust cloud of celebratory chaos. 2 months ago, I did a video about the history of field invasions in baseball and observed just how aggressive and unpredictable invading crowds had become during the 1970s. Something well illustrated by this rowdy crowd mobbing Chris Chambliss after his game-ending home run at Yankee Stadium in 1976. I went on to pinpoint exactly when cities cracked down on this behavior and then consider the reasons why field invasions no longer occur. Researching the topic, I initially wondered if field invasions were mostly something that happened east of the Rocky Mountains. As it turns out, the answer is no. Fans in Los Angeles did not rush the field when the Dodgers won the World Series at home in 1963. They clapped politely. But celebrations at the Oakland Coliseum in 1973 and 1974 were wild and chaotic. Let's listen to Vin Scully describe the scene after the A's defeated the Dodgers in 1974.
It is a madhouse here at the Oakland Coliseum. High up in the heavens, the rockets are going off. Down on the field, thousands of youngsters pouring out of the stands. The ball players battling for their lives to get back into the dressing room, and the A's have done it.
After the game ended, Los Angeles outfielder Bill Buckner complained that A's fans had thrown a whiskey bottle at him, littered the field with debris, and shown no class. Buckner may have been a bit of a sore loser after getting thrown out at third base, but his remarks, along with several radio descriptions, demonstrate that West Coast fans were behaving in a fashion similar to their East Coast counterparts during the 1970s. Crowd behavior had undergone a general shift in North America between 1966 and 1973. People even got onto the field at Fenway Park after the Red Sox lost the 1975 World Series to the Cincinnati Reds. On the West Coast, fans swarmed the field after the Anaheim Angels clinched a division title in 1979, and those supposedly laid-back fans in San Diego went nuts after the Padres won their first pennant in 1984. And once again, another large, rowdy crowd invaded the field at Angel Stadium 2 years later. But the winds were changing. The cities of Philadelphia and New York successfully deployed mounted police to keep fans off the field during World Series wins at home in 1980 and 1986. Soon after, the party was over. Field invasions, once commonplace in the 20th century, would disappear entirely. Here's a photograph of the old Yankee Stadium in 2008 after the final out of the final game played there. Notice the mounted police. City officials were not taking any chances. But back to Wade Boggs. When he started his Hall of Fame career in 1982, there was a 100% chance of at least some fans getting onto the field at Fenway Park or Yankee Stadium following a pennant or World Series win. The World Series in 1996 was different. Once Charlie Hayes made the final out, players jumped all over each other, fans cheered, but nobody left their seats. The NYPD, including its mounted patrol, got onto the field and assumed control. Not long after, Wade Boggs took his iconic horse ride. But there's another reason Boggs is so happy and free-spirited, and it has to do with the 1986 World Series. 10 years earlier, he wept in the dugout when his team, the Boston Red Sox, lost to the New York Mets. So it's 10 years later, Wade Boggs is champion of the world, and it's time to ride a horse. Hey, thanks for watching this one. Subscribe if you like the content, and let me know what you think in the comments.